You could have someone boost the signal of your wireless keys from outside of your house and unlock your car, or someone could walk past you and scan a card even if your wallet is in your pocket or a purse or backpack, and more. We'll go through some things that I'd consider to be physical information security tips. That's how I'm wording it, anyways. There are some general product categories that I'll recommend buying as a part of this, depending on the issue, since I think that will help you be more secure than otherwise. Any particular brands I mention aren't affiliated with me as of the time of recording. Keys for various things, along with car keys with the ability to wirelessly unlock a vehicle, should be considered. Don't post pictures of your keys online, since someone could make a copy of your key from a picture. If you're concerned about someone being able to buy a generic key for the object your key is for, you could consider contacting someone to do something called lock rekeying. For keys with the ability to wirelessly unlock vehicles, things get into sci-fi territory. And it's one of those things where horrors outside of many people's comprehension are real and currently happening. It's possible to go outside of someone's home with a signal boosting antenna to unlock a vehicle that can be opened wirelessly. This kind of antenna boosts the signal enough to get your key's signal from inside of your house and transmit it to the vehicle. To prevent this, you can get something called a Faraday pouch. Basically, a Faraday pouch is supposed to be able to block wireless signals. So, if you have keys with the ability to unlock your vehicle remotely, and someone tries to boost the signal of the key to unlock your vehicle, this could help protect against that. You could also make it a habit to put the keys in the Faraday pouch when you get home. If someone is using a device to boost a signal to skim your cards, it's possible, for example, for someone to clone something like a work ID card. From there, the person could later get unauthorized access to a building. An example I heard of this happening is when someone was talking with a security guard, in that someone had something inside of a backpack that someone was wearing that could read things like badges. The issue for that someone trying to clone the security guard's ID badge was getting close enough for the card to be scanned by the device in the backpack. Eventually, after a conversation, the person hugged the security guard and was able to get close enough through that to scan the ID card in order to clone it. To avoid cards being scanned like this, you can use an RFID blocking wallet, backpack, purse, or card holder depending on your situation. I have an RFID blocking badge holder and wallet from a company called Identity Stronghold, and I was particularly impressed that the badge holder was able to block the RFID signal enough to not be read by a scanner without me pulling out my card. This was in spite of the badge holder seemingly being open-faced from my viewpoint. The company isn't affiliated with me as of the time of recording, but I have a couple of the company's products. Similarly, if your passport has something like an RFID chip, which passports for people from the USA may have, it could be a good idea to have your passport put in some RFID blocking thing too. When I travel, I like to have a backpack with an RFID blocking pouch that I can put my passport in. The backpack brand is Travel Pro, which as of the time of recording is not affiliated with me. If you're worried about people peering over your shoulder to get information from your smartphone or laptop, you can get something called a screen protector. I've used a screen protector from 3M for this concern. However, in my experience, looking at the smartphone with this kind of screen protector on can be a bit weird in my viewpoint, since if I tilt the phone some direction, then the privacy feature making it harder to see the screen contents becomes increasingly visual. The visual quality of my iPhone I felt went down a bit in my opinion. For example, the colors were less vibrant and I felt like the touch sensitivity went slightly down from where I liked it when I had the screen protector on. I think it's important to balance user experience with good information security practices, so it's up to you if you want to try one of these and if the trade-offs are worth it. If you're someone who uses public transportation more often, having a privacy screen may be more worth it, for example. Also, my obligatory note is that as of recording, I'm not affiliated with 3M. Even though I don't personally use a screen protector anymore for this use case as of the time of recording, I felt it would have been negligent not to mention it in case you want something like this. It's possible for a surge of electricity to hurt some electronics, so I recommend getting some kind of surge protector or something with surge protection so that you may be less likely to lose things that you're working on. Also, if the power goes out, you'd want some kind of battery backup to at least keep your electronics on long enough to where you can save your things. The kind of battery backup you can look up for this is called an uninterruptible power supply. You can plug your computer's power into the uninterruptible power supply, which could plug into an outlet in your wall. I recommend finding an uninterruptible power supply with surge protection so that you can have both of these benefits in one package. When you are out and using your credit card, be aware of something called a card skimmer. Some criminals can put some kind of plastic or possibly metal and it looks like the regular card scanner sometimes, but it's not. What I do sometimes at gas stations is wiggle the card reader a bit to check if it's loose. I don't pull hard since I don't want to cause damage, and please don't cause damage, but I like to check. If it's loose, there may be a card skimmer that was placed over the real card reader by a criminal. A piece of advice I've seen before to potentially lessen your chance of getting a gas pump with a card skimmer is to go to a pump facing where the camera or gas station entrance would be basically. The thought process is that criminals may rather want to put card skimmers on gas station pumps further away from the cameras or the line of sight of an employee. Card skimmers can exist outside of gas station pumps, but that's just an example. The last bit of advice in this varied list of physical information security tips is that if you see a USB stick out in the wild or dropped somewhere near where you work, I don't suggest picking it up and sticking it in your computer. This is how viruses could be introduced onto your computer. These are important things to keep in mind for your life and for work. You may be traveling and have to use a company credit card. You may have a company ID you don't want cloned, and more. Feel free to share some of these tips with people you know.